Ginsburg, and will she retire from the Supreme Court in January of 2019? And who do you think might be next? So anyway, as you can see, the Santa Monica Observer, or smobserved.com is the way they state their domain, is now stating this pretty much as of today. I've gone through a little bit of it, but it's speaking privately, I guess, with her law clerk. I guess her cancer has come out of its remission. I guess according, obviously, to this article, that it's some type of malignant melanoma, obviously some type of skin cancer. She told her law clerks Ginsburg was treated, obviously, for colon cancer years ago, and then pancreatic cancer obviously had spread throughout her body. But, ladies and gentlemen, she's 85 years old. God knows, God bless her, no matter what, political party she comes from. But, I've been saying this for a while, and I think going back to, say, Kavanaugh's big issue, and, how it was really tricky and tough to really get everybody to accept him as a Supreme Court justice, it's because they saw this coming. So it also states that she has told key Democratic members of the Senate about her medical condition, including ranking members of the Judiciary Committee like Dianne Feinstein. This explains in part the take no prisoners attitude of the Democrats, obviously, as I said, during the Kavanaugh nomination. And it carefully orchestrated the weak 37-year-old allegations against Kavanaugh by women he barely remembers knowing in high school or college, of course. I mean, even the Santa Monica Observer, which you would think is a left-winged, Southern California-based news agency, if you will, that is already stating this. And Ginsburg, who is obviously 85, I don't know when she turns 86, but it's probably pretty soon. She was appointed by Bill Clinton, took office in 1993. That's been 25 years, a little over. Second female after Sandra Day O'Connor of 4 to be confirmed to the court, along with Sotomayor and Kagan, who are obviously still serving. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think? Who do you think is going to be next? Because it's obvious that it's going to happen. As I said a couple months ago, that it's probably going to happen within the next year or so. President Trump we're going to go through another Kavanaugh issue again. Again, thank you for coming, ladies and gentlemen. Hilda Platts, thank you for coming to the chat. Believe it when I see document with signature. Yeah, when she had cancer, I prayed for her. Great, But, ladies and gentlemen, she's 85 years old now. This is not 1999. That was, 19 years ago? Almost 20 years ago. So, she's not 65 anymore. It's not going to be that easy anymore. I've had grandparents that lived, past their 90s, and it was great that they did. But, it was a day-by-day type of thing, and taking care of them and making sure that they were coherent. But if you see here, Ginsburg was born in Brooklyn, New York. I didn't know that. Russian Jewish immigrants. And her older sister died when she was a baby. Following law school, Ginsburg turned to academia. She was a professor at Rutgers School of Law and Columbia Law School, teaching civil procedure as one of the few women in her field. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Let me know in the chat, and we will see, what happens in the next couple weeks. I'm sure they probably don't want to mention it until after Thanksgiving. President Trump is probably not going to really state anything. It's just going to come out when it really does. Obviously, I don't think any of the mainstream media is really talking about this yet because they're preoccupied with talking about the election results and things that have been hanging over for the past couple weeks because of the midterms. So what do you think, ladies and gentlemen? I-55 Centaur, thank you for coming to the chat. She wasn't right in the head. Age of consent for girls should be 12. I don't think so. Retire already. Sick. Well, yeah. And if she said that recently, she's probably got a brain tumor, unfortunately. But, there's no child that's going to be old enough for any type of consent at that age to even contemplate anything emotionally or physically for that matter. So I agree with you, Centaur. Anyone else, ladies and gentlemen? I just thought this was really interesting. They were speaking about her colon cancer and then obviously her pancreatic cancer. But, that's been, 19 years ago and 9 years ago, respectively. I mean, that's a long time. And she's now 85 years old. So obviously, I don't know if she's still in the hospital or what's going on. And it just kind of goes back to the fact that the Supreme Court justices should not probably be on the Supreme Court for life. There should be a certain time and a certain point where you say, it's great. Thank you for your service. You've been here since you were 60 years old. Now you're 85, 25 years. That's the normal time for someone to go through and have a career in something. Definitely, in my mind, it should have a time limit on it. Sooner Now says that she was the head of the ACLU, yes, and wrote it and said it again in her later years. Yeah, pertaining to the age issue. I did hear about that. Baron Angelton, thank you for coming to the chat. That is a typical Hebraic tradition. When a girl reaches a state, she's become a woman. Well, to each his own. Everybody has their opinion, ladies and gentlemen, but I don't really care. Maybe she's doing the same thing. Hopefully not, to heal herself. I don't think it really works that way. But if you've ever heard of the expression, ladies and gentlemen, our spirits reside in our blood. If you haven't heard that until now, you can go look it up, because many of smart people over the centuries have talked about those type of things. And if you steal the blood of the body, you steal the health of the body. And I do understand that the spirit resides in our blood. So if they're going to go that far and take it to that level with children, well, they can have that stuff. I don't think that Ruth Bader Ginsburg seems to be that type of person that is that way, but so be it. I mean, if she is, well, she's hit it very, very well. And as you can see here, she's an advocate as a volunteer lawyer for the American Civil Liberties Union. and was a member of the director on the board in the 70s. And in 1980, President Jimmy Carter, former, appointed her to the U.S. Court of Appeals. So as you can see, just like Kavanaugh, they go through a process, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, it might take years, but that's what they do. They go through a process. And Blue Healer 100, thanks for coming to the chat. She tried to get that legalized. Well, I never saw that in any type of documentation. Blue Healer, I never came across anything like that. To me, it's just Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and she needs to go. That's all I really care about, and I think that will change President Trump's conservative views on the committee, on the Supreme Court, to a 6-3 vote. And honestly, I think this is exactly why many can't stand Trump, because they know exactly what he's doing, and a lot of us are starting to figure it out as well, Hollywood included. A lot of the Democrats, especially the senators in California, that think that they can tell everybody what to do and how to do it and how to live, and that are obviously maybe running for president in 2020. We never know until probably after Thanksgiving, when some of them will really officially announce it, like maybe Senator Kamala Harris, which is going to be a joke, but she has mentioned that, and she is definitely not anything less than an enemy of the American people. And even those people who follow her and think she's the greatest thing, they're still minions, and they still don't realize that Trump is doing probably the best thing for us. And I can't say enough about the fact that what he's done so far in getting Judge Kavanaugh through, and God bless Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Whatever happens, obviously she's in her mid-80s, but the time has come, ladies and gentlemen. If you've seen some of those videos that I put on and seen what she has done and how she's reacted physically, it's just not it's not conducive to a Supreme Court justice.